Oh, thank you, dear. How far along are you?
Just about there.
Well, the father must be very proud.
I wouldn't know.
He's...
Out of sight, out of mind.
I see.
I don't need a man telling me what to do.
But what about the baby?
I got it under control.
But it's gonna burn.
What'd you just say?
I said your fucking baby's gonna burn. All those little babies are gonna burn.
Gladys,
Shut up, you stupid fucking cunt. All you do is complain, complain, complain.
My God.
You're all gonna fucking die.
The fuck, man?
Excelsior! What's up, comic book horror fans? I'm your boy, Ricky Van. I am here with my brother from another mother, Joe the psychologist. What's up, Joe? How are you, bro?
I am good. This is going to be an interesting discussion, I feel. Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to get into it. It's the second watch for me, but I'm going to go ahead and just say it was almost a first watch because what I thought I remembered was I think I had the wrong movie even in my head the whole time, which was enjoyable at that point because I was watching a whole new movie. So
yeah, it's funny because you put this movie on our list, and as I'm watching it, and I think after the movie was done, I had sent you a message like, bro, was this a comic book? I don't remember this movie being a comic, and you had to educate me on this. So yeah. I mean, why don't you tell us right now to the viewers, what are we dealing with here?
We're talking about Legion. And no, not the FX series of David Haller from the X-Men. This is the IDW.
It's not Xavier's son.
It's not Xavier's son. It's IDW's publishing's Legion. When we did our ideas for the show and came up with a list, I'm not going to lie, I did, comic book horror and typed it in for a search. And it came up and I put it on the list because I didn't want us to just to talk the same stuff that we've talked on a regular, normal conversation. So I put it on there, not really looking into it until we started. And like the only book that I've seen online is like this $50 book that when you can get previews, it's not a whole lot of previews in there. I'm like, well, I wanted to get some more information on this. There is a 4-issue series that's basically the prelude to all this. I'd be interested in finding out because it's called Legion Prophets. I'm assuming like Jeep sounds like which we'll talk soon, but like he was a prophet. But this is kind of one that I don't have a lot of 411 on, but I'm here to talk about the movie though itself.
I guarantee you a lot of the viewers won't either until now. All right, Joe the psychologist, I'm going to ask you now. This movie had a kind of an interesting premise, and I did really enjoy the way it started. Because this was your second watch, almost a first watch because it's been a while for you. This was completely a first watch for me. I've never seen this film before. So as I'm watching this, I'm not going to lie, I got into it fairly quickly. This notion of angels being framed and kind of a different light on this one. What did you think about the way they were positioned in this film as far as, the side of good or bad that they kind of, where do they sit on? What you thought about that?
I mean, it's not the first time that you've had angels being in horror comics. Sandman is a good example. Lucifer is in there. So, he's a fallen angel. It's been done. It was interesting because here the angels were like soldiers, like literally like soldiers. Like they knew how to fight with machine guns and everything. Yeah. It was a little different.
That's where the comic book side came on.
Yeah, it was a little different. again, I'm Catholic. For me, I was interested. I was okay with it. You know, it wasn't at least too religious heavy.
Not at all, no.
It was actually, like I said, the way that they were painted. I guess angels are not what we thought they were.
No,
You know,
not these
they're
motherfuckers.
no. You know, I guess there could be good ones, but there could be bad ones that are like demons. Michael reminded me of the Punisher a little bit.
Bro, that's a great comparison.
That's what reminded me of.
Dude, yeah.
When he
did.
walked into the war room
Oh my
and he was getting all the weapons, I'm like,
I love that.
fucking Punisher here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought the premise of this being, yes, it's about the apocalypse, but it turned it into making them being, you know, heroes and villains, and you're seeing like comic book type of fights.
It just shows you how much like power like the gods could have over us. The fact that this movie, in a way, if you really think about it, it's almost God testing his angels, but using humanity as like his tools. Because the whole premise of the movie is God, he kind of fell out of favor with mankind. You know, he was disappointed in mankind, how we're destroying ourselves, pretty much war, all that stuff. So he sends angels to kind of eliminate mankind, essentially. And the whole point was he gave the order to the angels and they would follow it. Gabriel, for example, is a blind follower. Michael was not. Michael was the one that kind of was onto it. Like, we can't do this. So he kind of, we'll get to the end, but he passed the test, essentially, from what I got. I could be wrong because I've only seen this once. But I think it was a very interesting switch up on the dynamic between good and evil. Like the angels being framed as villains and God being the big bad. I was like, holy shit, you got my attention now, because this is completely different. And you've always saw the good side as being our protectors, essentially, or the people that follow them. You know, that's the higher ups. But these higher ups got so much power that, yes, they can do some evil shit because they just can. So the way the humans were being possessed and used as tools was quite interesting. And we got a lot of zany characters out of that. We got to talk about Gladys. So Joe, please tell me what's on your mind. I know you've seen this before once, and this character, to be honest, was in the trailers. I remember her from when she came on screen. I was like, oh, I remember now. Talk to me about Gladys, bro.
I actually saw that scene, so and can say I do remember that. So why don't you tell me if this is your first time? Like, I know you saw the trailer, but just to see the whole...
That was when I used to watch trailers. Back in the day.
But, I mean, remember, she just comes in on her dusty old car.
But before I get to that, I got a question for you, though. This character of Gladys climbs up the wall, climbs onto the ceiling. Very spider-like. Did your arachnophobia get triggered a little bit when you saw this? That was creepy, bro.
It was. And then when she opened up the mouth, there was something that we were watching or talked about where it was like a mixture of spider that had the sharp teeth. I thought about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the way this whole character presentation was framed. We got a nice big full shot of the diner, and this one little car slowly pulls in, door opens, you see the walker hit the floor. She's slowly walking towards the diner. She walks in. Mind you, shit already started happening. Then, oh, have a seat, whatever. And she sits down and she's all nice. But what really was creepy about it is the way she talked to people. She was very pervasive towards a lot of these patrons, especially that married couple. And the way she would talk to, she was cussing a storm. And they were like, shut the fuck up, lady. You know what I'm saying? Everybody started turning on her. Then she started going wild and nuts. Like I mentioned, she crawled up on the ceiling. Yeah, she just crawled on the fucking ceiling, bro. That's not normal, but he couldn't pull the trigger. But when Kyle did, Kyle being Tyrese's character, which when he shows up, I'm like, Tyrese is he's in this movie too. I saw Dennis Quaid, fucking Charles Dutton. Like, what a cast, by the way. Holy shit. When Kyle shoots her, you saw his hand was kind of shaking. And I was like, ooh. Then later on, you come to find out that was the first person he's ever killed. Because he was, he had a weapon. And they thought he was probably some gang gangbuster or whatever. But we found out a little bit more about him later. But the Gladys was a very interesting way to introduce us, the viewers, into this plan that God has using humanity as puppets against each other, because he picked the most frailest person to start the whole movie with. Well, the director did and the writer, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I love that they did that, bro. So talk to me about the old hag Gladys, brother. Talk to me.
Dude, when she was sitting there, when she was like, because I think it was the married couple, she first interacted, and she made this little snarky comment at the end. And then when she tells her to shut the fuck up, cunt,
yeah.
I died.
Yo, brother, I'm an introvert. If somebody just talks to me randomly like that, like a stranger, I'm trying to eat and they're just talking, I hate that. I don't know. I'm like, oh my God,
in those situations, I don't mind. That's a small town type of thing. And that's the kind of feel you want to get, which is, they talk to her because they can tell she's from the town. But when she started swearing and when she fucked shit up, I thought it was great that they used the most unassuming to be the one, because she kicked all of their asses. She smacked around a couple of them.
Yeah, Howard's the guy she bit the chunk out of his neck. By the way, Kate Walsh is also in that. I think you have brought that to my attention before.
Yeah, Kate Walsh.
I was like,
what? I forgot that she was in it.
I didn't know. I didn't recognize her, honestly. And then when we talked about a little bit, before we started recording, and that name popped up.
I have a thing about hooks for hands.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay, and then when I saw it, it literally,
bothers me.
I'm like, oh, when I worked as a manager at a gas station, a guy came in and he went to hand me the money on the hook. Oh man,
I don't understand. First of all, if you need a prosthetic in 2024, mind you, or even back when this came out, what year was this?
2010.
2010. Who gets a prosthetic? A hook? It's pirates. I can understand.
It's supposed to help. I mean, if the way it works, it does clip on things. It's still, anyway,
weird, but yeah.
It is. If this little old bitty thing possessed can, get hits on a couple of them and have to take a couple of shots to take it down, we're going to be fucked for this battle coming up, because they still took over the human
Michael
body.
Didn't give a fuck. He was like, no, they're not your friends or neighbors anymore, man.
Especially the little girl with the balloon.
Shoot to kill.
The little girl was walking with the balloon.
I know, bro.
Yeah, honestly, I'm with Michael. I'm like, get her first. She's showing up with a balloon. She's gonna be a crazy little bitch right there.
Well,
get her first.
Brother, let's talk about this invasion. The battle, the apocalypse, man. Now, this gave me a lot of Assault on Precinct 13 vibes. The siege onto the diner and waves at that. It starts small, then near the climax, you see it felt like 100 cars and the headlights. That's fucking scary, bro.
It is.
And not just that, but we didn't get upon the fact that when Howard got bit and they're trying to take him to the hospital, they get swarmed by were they flies?
It was flies, but when Percy came back and said about getting the Bible, they were meant to be in place of the locusts, because it's supposed to be the apocalypse, the end of times. I thought the battle was awesome. I am going to see if you thought about this yourself. They get rid of Gladys, and Michael tells them, all right, we got to get ready. They board everything up, and they go up top, and then they hear music in the background, slowly getting closer. As they got closer, I went, is Sweet Tooth about to show up?
Yeah.
Did you think the same?
No, because unfortunately, again, the Ice Cream Man was another character that was highlighted within the trailer itself. But not just that, you got to understand too. I got a vast collection of old Fangorias, Horror Hound, Rue Morgue, all these old magazines, which some are still around today. I collected all those magazines. So this movie appeared some time ago, because I remember on the cover was the Ice Cream Man with his mouth gaping completely wide. So I'm like, Doug Jones. There's Doug Jones.
I did find that out after, but I'm not gonna lie. When it was coming up and you see that it's the ice cream truck,
his appendages elongated, and he's all like, I'm like, oh, bro, a little CGI heavy, but yeah.
It was. They did awesome, but just still, when he's pulling in and getting close, and it's just
with the music set it off,
and then you see it's an ice cream truck, and I'm sitting there going, dude, is Sweet Tooth here? And I was like, who? I'm like, it's Twisted Metal. Never mind.
He didn't see Twisted Metal?
He did see it, but I didn't want to distract him from the movie because it was all into it. It's very easy for us, like how we do our conversations here, that we go off on a different conversation real quick on the side. The apocalypse thing, I thought it was awesome. I mean, as you said, Michael gave two shits when Kate Walsh's character, when she fucking went bonkers. She went full on evil at that point.
Yeah, she got my boy Percy killed.
Yeah, and then her own daughter, which I think the name of the actress is Willa Holland. She was Arrow's sister in the Arrow series. Yeah, so when she popped up, I'm like, hey! Yeah. I was like, I forgot that she was in this movie.
In this movie, she reminded me of a young Elizabeth Olsen, the way she looked. I don't know what it was. Something about the way
I can see that.
I was like, oh, it looks like a young Olsen.
But for me, it was a little comic book tie because, she eventually went on to star in, I think Arrow was 8 seasons?
Yeah.
I think she was on there for at least almost the whole run.
Yeah.
So what about you? What you thought about the whole apocalypse?
Oh, man. Setting it off, the final fight with the ice cream man was perfect. I love how you get the one character, they shoot him down, but then as a camera pans, you see this whole army just coming behind them. They're like, there's no fucking way. I mean, the only thing was kind of weird to me because everybody suddenly became like Rambo, just blasting everybody. And it is the South, right? Is this where this took place? The Mojave, was it the Mojave Desert this diner took? Where was this diner at? I mean,
California.
Come on. Look at Jeep. Jeep is definitely a Southern motherfucker the way he talks.
It was California.
It was California, really? But I got a lot of Southern vibes off of it. Because the kid who plays Jeep is Lucas Black. He was in American Gothic at one point when he was he was in the X-Files at one point. So he always plays these Southern characters. But yeah, anyway, everybody just became like expert in firearms all of a sudden. But it's just fine. It's an action horror movie. I think it was done right. I really enjoyed the fight up until some parts like Kyle's death. I didn't like. He got suckered in and he didn't really show him get killed. They just got tackled down. A character especially played by Tyrese, you would want him to at least have a bit more of a more gravitas as far as demise. And Audrey, and she died off screen.
Dude, like I don't. Like, did she go flying out the window? And I'm like, no, the car rolled over.
At least show the body. At least look and you see her body. You don't gotta show me a mangled body trampled by a vehicle. But at least show. Don't be like, oh no, she didn't make it. She was a pretty decent sized character within the film. But I like the way, Kate Walsh's character when she went bonkers again. When Howard's body just exploded for the boils. I'm going a little, this is pre the fight, but I want to get that out there because it's my first time watch, and I like that scene. I wanted to bring it up because when that shit exploded, I was like, oh, that can't be good. And then when Percy turns around, his back's all fucking like melted. Yeah, it didn't really stick to the landing to me. It built it up, but then some characters again, like Kyle, I expected more out of him. He just tossed to the side. It felt like, forget about this character. Now worry about this character. I don't know. A little weird because I hope you could explain this now. The fight, of course, Gabriel. We haven't really talked about Gabriel. Your boy who plays him, Joe, who plays him?
Kevin Durant.
He's like everywhere now all of a sudden.
I know.
I love him. He's great. So Gabriel's an awesome character to pit against Michael's character because they're both angels but different ideologies. They see things differently. Michael is his own thinking man and Gabriel's a blind follower, and that's how God was like, no, Michael, he passed the test essentially. But he dies, but then he gets resurrected back as an archangel, comes back down. But then when he dies, though, the tattoos appear on Jeep. Now, he meant to seek the prophets, and I forgot the word, decipher the code or something, or I forgot what it was, but the code was the tattoos. Do you know anything about that as far as, is that... Okay, that's just for this then.
Yeah, it would have been good to. It would have been good for if at some point in time he would have stopped to tell them, or somebody is like, So all those tattoos, what are they for?
Yeah, they didn't really explain
like it was
that.
yeah, no,
at
it was
all.
like the no pun intended since we're talking about angels, but the landing it crashed a little on the landing.
Yeah, that's again. I was oh man, definitely Terminator vibes with Jeep and what's her name, Charlie's character.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know this when I saw it. That's Adriana Palicki. What's her name?
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't know that. I was like, that's Bobby Moore. That's Mockingbird.
Yep.
I mean, she's in other stuff besides Agents of Shield, but that's where I know her from.
She was supposed to have been Wonder Woman. For the series did not end up happening.
Oh, okay.
But she was going to be the Wonder Woman for a TV series at one point.
I was going to say it must be a CW show. Closing thoughts. You know what the rating system is. If you don't know it by now, Joe, if you want to kindly please explain that real quickly and give us your thoughts, man.
All right. So for our rating system, you know, because even though I'm hardcore DC, I am total mutant here. I went by obviously their power. And epsilon is 1, beta is 2, alpha is 3, and omega is 4. And I'll go first. So for me, I'm gonna go beta on it. I didn't totally hate it. I think, you know, again, when I came up with trying to find some other movies that we had not seen for us to cover, it would have been nice for me to find some more information on it. You know, like I said, the only thing I found is this $50 book that it's based on from this writer, and which doesn't even let me know if it's actually truly, you know, based on it. Now, I know that it was a planned trilogy, and it ended up on Sci-Fi. They did Dominion, which is 25 years after.
Oh, I heard of that. That was part of this?
Yes. So Dominion is 25 years after the events of Legion. Michael, who had cut off his own wings to become a human.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes. I totally forgot about that, which was again, we talked about Terminator vibes at the end of the film. The beginning, when he like appears, Kyle Reese, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
He cut off his wings and he put the coat on and stuff. Like,
so here
shit.
he like sit there, he sews it, which I love that.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, I mean,
he felt pain.
It's where I knew that this was a horror. It didn't shy away from them showing the needle going in and him like sewing like his skin and flesh together. I was like, all right, so I see this is going to be pretty cool on at least the gore and the effects, because Michael was human and Gabriel was still an angel, which I loved his use of the wings when he spun around. And
total mutant vibes, right?
Oh yeah, I sat there and I was like, it gave me a little bit of Archangel.
Yes, absolutely.
A little bit, and then at the same time going,
they felt metallic because bing, 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 with the bullets would pop off of them.
So I was like, well, could Angel have done this? But he never thought about it, that he could have just used his wings and flipped around. But I thought, because this is where it was, yes, it was action, but a lot of it was very comic book. Michael got fucked up.
Yeah, it's an action film with a lot of horror elements sprinkled within it, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys question why we put this on the list, again, we put this together, and part of the reason we do these shows is to not just introduce ourselves, but introduce you guys to movies you maybe not have seen and should give a chance. Yeah. So if you don't feel it falls into the comic, I get it. At the same time, there is a graphic novel available about it. If you haven't, kudos to you. And they did actually, like I said earlier, release a 4-issue miniseries about the prophets, which I'm like in my head going, so are these, like, if it's the prelude, are these...
What's a prequel to
this? The prequel, all their story, all the people that showed up at the gas station, are those 4 issues, the 4 individuals, like, the family could have been 1 issue. I don't know. I didn't look up the whole thing.
I'm assuming, like, I think you had mentioned it before, Jeep being
a prophet. Yeah, because he was having the dreams.
Yes.
Of having to save and protect. He didn't know why. and that's would be a profit.
It's definitely comic book vibes as far as
Yes.
the narrative and horror. It's a horror film.
And your thoughts on this?
Yeah,
Since it was your first watch?
same. It's a beta for me too. But keep in mind, beta is, even though it shows up as a 2, that's a halfway point, right?
Yeah.
It's not a terrible film. It's definitely enjoyable. I would have gave it an alpha score, but again, the ending, it didn't stick to its landing. I think the ending kind of felt a little abrupt. It's like if you're having sex, the best sex of your life. Then there's pre-ejaculation and you're fucked. That's what this movie reminded me of, because Gabriel and Michael are going at it, and all of a sudden, Gabriel just shows up again. He explains to him, okay, what's really going on, and Gabriel's like, okay, well, I'll leave. He leaves, and that's it. So
Yeah.
crisis
Anticlimactic.
solved. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like, but again, it's not enough to make me like hate the film. Paul Bettany. I mean, I got to talk about Paul Bettany quickly. What a performance! I mean, I kept seeing the vision, but because that's why
After a while, I
Yeah.
would say about your like maybe 20, 30 minutes in, even though the movie's not all that long either, you still don't.
Great leading man in this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did
Great leading man. His presence was like, he shows up on screen and your eyes are glued to him, and he has some good dialogue written for him. Just like Percy, I think Percy has some good lines in there as well, as a kind of more of the older guy that's more experienced in life. Maybe not in battle, but he's been around the ringer 1 or 2. I love the conversation between him and Kyle when they're on the roof. That felt real. The way he saw Kyle as his thug, and Kyle explains to him, it's not that easy. I'm not, I like that because that gave it more of a human element to the film. But yeah, it's same score for me. I just wish they just stuck to that landing a little bit more. This came out during a time where every weekend there was a film like this in a theater, and that's why I didn't see it. It did not interest me at all because there were so many films at the time that looked and felt just like this on the surface. I can't say because I didn't see every film that came up, but on the surface.
When did Underworld come out? When did Resident Evil come out?
All over.
They probably both had one of their sequels during this time. So
exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I mean.
It looked like a copycat. However, once Gladys shows up, you already know. First of all, as I said in the beginning, when he sews the wings, there's some gore in here.
That's cool.
But when Gladys shows up and just the way she starts talking and the fighting, you're like, okay.
Listen, that's nice and all. But Howard on the upside down cross, his skin boiling. He
blistering. Explodes
into like fucking acid. Yeah, that's a horror film.
It is. No, there was a lot of couple.
But yeah, thanks for bringing it up to me, putting it on the list. It gave me a chance to finally watch it.
Shit, I'm thanking myself for putting it on the.
I thought you were telling me. Shh.
No, I'm saying shit. I'm putting myself because again, do you feel this was a comic book?
Leave it in the comments. You want to
let us know in the comments.
You got something to say? You agree or disagree?
There is an IDW publishing on it, so that is why. This is why it's
Joe
on
the
the Comic Book Horror
Psychologist.
Show.
We are cheer for big bottles of beer. Another episode of the Comic Book Horror Show. My man, take us home.
We are